My name is Shardai Williams. I am 32. I live in South Jersey. It's my crazy, weird story. I come from good stock. Um, both sides of my family were military families for the most part, raised in good homes, but family traumas. My parents fought a lot. They argued a lot. Love my dad to pieces, but he had his own traumas. So, he had his own demons and own demons too. My mom fought different things mentally, wanting to be loved, all those different things, and they made for a toxic bunch. A lot of stuff was just going on. There was a lot of arguing, a lot of fighting. I had a handicapped brother that was very stressful, and I think different things just were not seen because I was so quiet. I stayed silent, and I just continued to live life. My mom just always said, you just got to push through. You just got to keep going. Pray about it. Pray about it. I prayed a lot. I fought my battles even at 7 on my own mentally with God, honestly. I always had God. My mom was heavy in church. At that time, she was trying to live right, and it was really hard with her trying to live right. But my dad, had faith, but he wasn't living 100% like that. The first time that I was molested by a family member, I was at a family member's house, spent the night, and we were young. So I don't necessarily think that it was anything malicious. He was a little older, but I can't really remember everything, but I just kind of knew certain things that were going on wasn't supposed to be going on. And I felt guilty within, and I fought a battle mentally really bad. But that's really all I remember about the first time. I knew my cousin, we was close. I think at the time I didn't even really think that it was anything wrong. It took me trying to really heal some things later on that made me realize what really took place. And I didn't figure that out until in my mid-20s. It was mainly just touching. I don't remember how long it took me to tell my mom, but I did tell my mom because the guilt ate away at me so bad because I felt like I was wrong and I felt like God was going to punish me. And then I just told her, and it just was like, a weight lifted off my shoulders. That stuff started coming towards my teenage years. So I feel like in a lot of Black families, a lot of touching cousin stuff happens, and we cover it, we don't speak on it, and we just move forward, and then stuff happens, and now we have a whole mess, but we don't realize that some things could have been prevented. Me and my mother had the type of relationship where I never was quiet in my opinion about things because I stood on principle even when I was a child. Probably around 9, it happened again. I just remember where we lived, and it was that was a span between of 7 and 13. So next person was my friend's sister that was older. I was spending the night at my friend's house, and then her sister started touching me again, awakening things within me that should not have been awakened. No kid should be touched in those areas at that age. I really thought it was my fault. I thought that I was giving in or something. I didn't know. We weren't allowed to talk. It was if you communicated, things would blow up, families would break apart, it would just be chaos. So it was just easier to stay quiet. I was really scared to do stuff like that. I never wanted any issues. I didn't want arguments. I didn't want commotion. I'm still like that. I don't like chaos. I don't like confrontation. I feel it deeper than the average person. It affects me differently. And it's just easier to just be quiet. Keeping quiet caused a mental battle. It caused me to really fight internally a lot. A whole lot. I felt like it was certain things were back to back. After that, I realized, now I'm intrigued. These parts have been awakened. I can't wait to be a grown-up now. Now I'm sneaking and watching on HBO with the TV all the way down. Now it's me trying to get my cousins to watch it too, thinking that it's normal. Now it's a problem. Now I can't wait to do this stuff. But my mom kept me in church, so my morals stopped me from doing a lot. So it was always I don't want to displease God anymore. So I would always stop myself. I always knew what I didn't want to be. So that's why I never used my body or, with everyone, and I didn't take it out in that way. So we say hopped off the porch. Because of course I grew up in, ghetto circumstances as well. I didn't grow up in, my parents, yes, they came from upstanding situations, but they both were kind of like the black sheep. They were the less fortunate ones for real. So I grew up in the ghetto. I hopped off the porch 14, 15, 8th grade. I'll never forget it. Summer of 8th grade. That's when it all changed. That's when the spiral started to happen. The spiral was bad. 8th grade, I was always kind of like heavy set growing up. So I didn't get what I needed. I didn't get attention from boys, none of that. So 8th grade, I started to slim out. My dad was 6'8", so I got tall. And my mom let me get my hair done. And the boys, the older men, were looking at me. And I was like, oh, I must be cute. Or I must got a body. I was bow-legged too. So I just had become a target, I guess you could say, in some degree. But I was still real shy. So I never felt as pretty as some people thought I was. So that's why I still get very bashful till this day when people say you're so beautiful. And I'm like, I don't see what you see. I was 14. Boys started liking me. I started going outside with friends. I was in the ghetto, so I was around kids that was doing a lot more than me. We just started experimenting into stuff, and then I lost my virginity at 14. My mom and my dad were working a lot, so I was a latchkey kid. I stayed at home with my handicapped brother a lot, so my house was the hangout spot because my mom used to my mom was the cool mom. She was the icy lady. So, everybody was always welcome, whether it was a boy or girl. My mom always kept me around boys and girls in every capacity. I had co-ed sleepovers, everything, at like 10, 11. Boys and girls could sleep over. I knew even then that that's not usually how it is, but that's how it was for me. And I wasn't doing it. I really did not utilize a lot of the freedom that I did have. But 14, I started using it. And I lost my virginity in my mom and my daddy house. And from there, here we go. Then I got pregnant at 15 when I met my kid's father. Then I got pregnant again at 19. And that's when my dad told me that I had to, I had to get out. He said, you cannot keep bringing babies at this age in my home. He said, so you're going to have to get out. I've been working since I was 14 years old. I've always provided a way for myself and still tried to give to my parents as well. I've always learned how to survive. Always. Since I was young. And I moved out. The addiction started shortly after my second daughter. So I would say that's when it started to peek through. It didn't go into full effect until maybe when she was around 1. But I would say around 1920 was when it first was introduced. I was in a car accident real bad. Me and my kid's dad. We were in a bad car accident, and we had to go through all these steps for the lawsuit, and they told us, reports, all the stuff, all the paperwork, you're going to be paying for the rest of your life. They put us on at the age of 20 years old, 120 every month, 30 milligrams 4 times a day. So for the longest, I didn't know I was in until pills are gone and the withdrawal symptoms from it. And then you're trying, because you're looking around, because this is not supposed to be how things are, but you're looking around and your body is craving something. And just for you to live normally, you have to have it. And it makes you feel better about everything that's going wrong. Then it gets to you're taking pills because you're in an argument with your kid's father. Then it goes to taking pills because somebody died. And then, the same reasons where a lot of people get together and drink. Same difference. But the effects are way worse of an effect on the body. And then you see your family members around you doing it as well, so you don't think you're wrong. We had a lot of enablers around us, and I'm thankful, and I'm thankful and I'm not, because maybe we would have got it together a little bit sooner had everybody not enabled us the way that they did. And that lasted for about 7 years. I prayed. And I got in trouble. And I took the opportunity of getting in trouble to get my stuff together. I wanted to go to rehab. I didn't have nobody that was supportive that would have said, well, keep your kids while you go. I didn't want to lose my children, but I wanted to be better for them. I was tired. And everything happened in divine order. I got in trouble. I was facing 4 years in prison. I went to jail for a little bit. Just my life just spiraled, and I looked around and I said, it was just like something was like, this wasn't supposed to be it. Then my brother got murdered the day he came home from rehab. And the day of his funeral, I went and I signed my papers and sworn in the court. And I started outpatient treatment, and I was pregnant with my son. And I wanted him to live. I had 3 girls, and God blessed me with my son, and I wanted to get it right. I didn't want him to experience anything that they had, and they had already experienced it, and I couldn't take it back, but I didn't want that for him. I didn't want it for them anymore. And me and their dad got it together. Through the time, I blamed it on myself. Through the time, I blamed it on my choices. I didn't realize then how, certain things in my life, I always said I didn't want to be a statistic. Go figure. Because I was a teen mom. I graduated high school, top of my class, 10%. I with a 2-year-old on my hip. I worked 2 jobs when I was in 12th grade. I know now, I'll say this, I know now that I've been trying to heal, and I've been trying to pick myself up from rock bottom, because you really have to get and lay in rock bottom for a while. And I laid in rock bottom. Lost my kids for 30 days, and I said, we got to get it together. And I sat and I started evaluating myself. What's causing all of this? Went back to the things that, were bothering me, what was hurting me, all of that. And I said, I don't want it no more. I didn't know how to fix it. I prayed hard. I started going to church. We started getting counseling in church, all of that. And I'm still in church. And I know I've only got here by God's grace. And he helped me to build a village. And he helped me to see, even through it, outpatient really helped me. It really helped me majorly. And I thank drug court. And I thank my probation officer, because they saved my life. Now, I'm a behavioral technician. So now I realize I always had the ear. I always gave advice. I always wanted to help people. And now, just because I'm understanding that I went through what I went through to help somebody else, even if it just saves or touches one, then that's the whole reason why I had to go through it. So I work with kids now, high school kids, and, in urban areas. And I try to show them that somebody who's just like them, that looks like them, that's been in their situations, mother and children, that they can get better, they can have better. And I try to tell them, like, this road is hard. It doesn't feel good. Baby, please, just listen to me. Because if I would have listened, or if I would have had more, I'm trying to give them what I feel it wasn't given to me. And I tell them, your faith is most important, and have God in everything that you do, no matter what. But you do got to live the journey sometimes. I should have been dead. It was a point in time where I was chewing patches. I could have been dead. Although I never went there. I was taking pills and fentanyl patches. I could have been dead. I shouldn't have woken up a few times. My kids should have been shaking me, "Mommy, wake up," a few times. But God. And when you're chosen, there's nothing you can do about it. And you got to believe that you're chosen. You get through life a lot easier when you just decide that you're chosen. You don't have to hold it all in. Speak up. It's okay to communicate. You're not wrong for it. And I broke that curse, because my mom had it too, not communicating. And now me and my kids, we don't got it the greatest, but we definitely have come a long way.